In the early 1600s, Japan's isolationist policy, sakoku, was just beginning. Among the few foreigners allowed into the country were the Dutch. When they arrived, the Japanese found them utterly baffling. The Dutch wore clunky wooden shoes that made them stumble on land. To the Japanese, these seemed more like crude tools than proper footwear. One observer reportedly wondered aloud, "Do they not trust the earth beneath their feet?" The Dutch brought gifts to impress the Japanese, including a telescope. The Japanese officials, curious about this magic tube, spent hours trying to figure it out, often holding it backward. They marveled at how it made faces look smaller, entirely missing its purpose. Food was another point of confusion. The Japanese served natto, fermented soybeans with a pungent smell, to the Dutch traders. The Dutch tried it with visible hesitation, later describing it as sticky glue with the scent of old socks. They choked it down politely, their faces betraying their inner horror. But what truly amazed the Japanese were the Dutch muskets. These weapons roared like thunder and spat fire, a shocking sight for a culture that primarily relied on swords and bows. Samurai were quick to study and replicate the technology, seeing its potential to change the battlefield. Despite these early misunderstandings, the Japanese and Dutch formed a unique partnership. Their encounters were filled with strange foods, odd technologies, and plenty of mistranslations, but both sides recognized the value of exchanging ideas and goods. 1519, Hernán Cortés and his Spanish expedition arrived in Mexico. To the Aztecs, these pale-skinned strangers seemed otherworldly. Their ships were described as floating houses, their armor gleamed like the sun, and their horses were mistaken for mythical beasts. Moctezuma, the Aztec emperor, was told by his scouts that these beings might be gods, possibly messengers of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent deity. Hoping to show respect, Moctezuma sent gifts of gold and treasures. The Spanish, however, saw these offerings as signs of vast wealth ripe for plundering. When the Spanish were served Aztec chocolate, they expected sweetness but were shocked to find it bitter and spiced with chili. One Spaniard later wrote that it tasted like punishment, not a treat. The Aztecs, meanwhile, believed they were honoring their guests with a divine drink. The Spanish muskets caused a similar mix of fear and amazement. When the weapons were fired, the sound echoed across the jungle, terrifying the Aztecs. They believed the Spanish carried thunder in their hands, something only gods could wield. Despite the initial awe and gifts, the two sides misunderstood each other deeply. The Aztecs thought they were hosting divine visitors. The Spanish were already plotting conquest. The Aztecs' hospitality and cultural splendor amazed the Spanish, while the Aztecs marveled at the strange weapons and pale foreigners. For a brief moment, these two worlds stood in awe of each other, unaware of the devastating conflict that lay ahead.